Donald Trump Jr., who was in court again this morning. There he is. You hear the protesters chanting, crime family, and that is basically what these people are, a crime family, a very dumb crime family, the Gambozos, if you will, and I mean, that son of a bitch, you know, is really unbelievable.
Mr. Son of a bitch.
I mean,
Mr. Son of a bitch.
His loyal. Yes, no, I never imagined that we'd ever have a president like this, and I hope we don't ever have another president like this again.
Donald Trump is having a terrible Sunday morning. You know when you are being hit by former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Thomas Massie, Ro Khanna, everybody essentially at the Munich conference all at once. Yeah, you are probably the most despised thing in this world. I want to go through with you what's going down this morning. Just a reminder, hit subscribe. As you can see, we're less than 50,000 subscribers away from 6 million.
You know what's absolutely wild? Jimmy Kimmel has spent years systematically destroying Donald Trump Jr. on live television. And every single time Kimmel goes after Trump's son, Donald Trump absolutely loses his mind. We're talking about a pattern of brutal takedowns followed by presidential meltdowns at 12:49 a.m. on Truth Social. And the best part? Kimmel just keeps doing it, knowing exactly how much it bothers both father and son. Before we dive into this beautiful pattern of destruction and rage, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss a single moment of this family takedown.
Not supposed to rely on a big five accounting firm, like one of the biggest accounting firms in the world. I can pay them millions of dollars. I rely on them to do accounting, but I'm supposed to know more than them. By this logic, insurance companies are going to start suing patients for listening to their doctors. Right? Do you understand? Like, am I supposed to know more? Oh, Don Jr. doesn't know anything about it. I'm not an accountant. I'm a business guy.
I'm a business guy who had his elbows soldered together, and now.
Let's hit 6 million this week. Hit subscribe right now. And by the way, shout out to all of the Midas Mighty fans I saw in Disneyland yesterday when I brought my family there. A lot of people came up, so shout out to all of you. I said I would give everybody a shout out. All right, I want to go to the Munich conference right now where you have Hillary Clinton saying, look, when it comes to the Epstein files, we've been saying release them. I'm willing to testify publicly. I've got nothing to hide at all. What we're seeing in some of these files as like one of Donald Trump's right-hand people, like Steve Bannon trying to topple the former Pope, and how this Epstein class that surrounded Donald Trump was trying to overthrow all these governments and hoist up MAGA, and that's one of the things that Epstein was involved in. There's deeper things, very serious things that need to be addressed immediately. What in the world is going on?
This isn't just about one incident. This is about Jimmy Kimmel realizing that one of the most effective ways to get under Donald Trump's skin is to expose his son as the incompetent Nepo baby that he is. And Trump? He can't help himself. Every time Kimmel destroys Don Jr., Trump comes to his son's defense, which only makes the whole thing more pathetic. Let's start with one of the most devastating moments, January 2022. Kimmel was discussing the possibility of Don Jr. running for president in 2024, and Kimmel didn't hold back.
Trump by 16 points. I'm at +3, he's at -13. Is nice, but it feels like, considering the fact that I'm not a convicted felon friend of Jeffrey Epstein, and I've never paid off a star or sent a team of masked goons into a park to pull an old lady away from her grandchildren, I feel like my rating should be higher, maybe, than...
Someone, by the way, who, if he was a king, probably would just reopen the government, but it hasn't worked that way. If he was a king, he probably would have never left the office the first time. If he was a king, he wouldn't allow his government to prosecute and persecute him.
Here, play this clip right now of Secretary of State Clinton. Let's play it.
I heard three in particular. To the last question, it's horrifying, and we're hoping that there will be continued release every day that passes. that doesn't mean, as our news commentators say every day in the United States, that because someone's name is there, they committed a crime. But I think there's a lot of very troubling and really horrific information coming out. Today, came out that Steve Bannon...
Don Jr. couldn't run a Dunkin' Donuts, Kimmel said on live television. He's going to be the president? Think about that line for a second. Kimmel looked at Donald Trump's eldest son, the guy who's supposed to be running the Trump organization, the guy who acts like he's some kind of political mastermind, and said he couldn't manage a donut shop. The Jimmy Kimmel Live team even created a spoof campaign ad featuring Don Jr.'s wildest moments. It was absolutely brutal.
Gwen Waltz, bye-bye Donald Trump. It goes on and on. There's a list. We just put it out on X. All of these high-powered Democrat officials, the people that, we got to tone down the rhetoric. They're the ones doing all the rhetoric, Carl. But it's typical Democrat projection, okay? They accuse everyone else of doing the things that they're doing. They scream and yell, just like they've been talking about democracy and calling everyone they don't like a fascist, while censoring, jailing their political opponents, and so on and so forth.
Imagine telling somebody that your money is tied up in Don Jr. gold, right? They'd put you in a mental hospital.
Was trying to get Jeffrey Epstein to help him overthrow Pope Francis. I guess that was part of the civilizational true conservatism. So it is something that needs to be totally transparent. I've called for many years for everything to be put out there so people can not only see what is in them, but also, if appropriate, hold people accountable. We'll see what happens.
Then you have Marjorie Taylor Greene. She's livid because her name was listed on the politically, whatever the list was that the Trump regime put out. The Trump regime put out their own Epstein list.
And here's what makes it perfect. It's true. Don Jr. has never successfully run anything without his father's money and name. He's the definition of a Nepo baby, someone who thinks he earned everything when really he was just born on third base and acts like he hit a triple. If you're loving this takedown, leave a comment below and make sure you're subscribed because this story gets so much better. Fast forward to September 2024. This is when Kimmel delivered what might be the most savage burn in late-night television history. J.D. Vance had been chosen as Trump's running mate.
As upset as his fellow Republicans pretend to be, no one is more perturbed right now than Trump's most disappointing son.
And guys, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Trump already beat Stormy Daniels in court? In all fairness, isn't she paying his legal bills or something like that? I don't know.
His hands move faster than his brain. They're what is it? It's like if Jim Henson had no puppets.
Politically active people, whatever. And it was Elvis, Janis Joplin, who else's name did they have in there? Marilyn Monroe. And they listed all of these people. They didn't put any of the Trump kids, despite Don Jr. being, on the files and other kids being referenced there. They did put Hunter Biden on it. And it just seemed like a way to mask Trump's name on it by just putting all of these other names. And a lot of the men who were actually co-conspirators and perpetrators are not on this list that the DOJ put forward last night. And they said, this is how we did our redactions. And here are the politically controversial people who are in the Epstein files.
And it was becoming increasingly clear that it was a disaster. Vance had been caught making bizarre comments about childless cat ladies and was bombing in every public appearance. And you know who pushed Trump to pick J.D. Vance? That's right, Donald Trump Jr. Multiple reports confirmed that Don Jr. was one of the biggest advocates for making Vance the VP pick. He told his father this was the right move. This was the future of the Republican Party. Kimmel destroyed him for it. There are a lot of things Trump isn't good at, Kimmel said. One of the things he's especially not good at is picking running mates.
This most recent video, I noticed something that I want you to take a look at.
We've seen the insanity of what's going on in the last few years, and we're just here to call that out.
Okay, now zoom in if you can, because he's got 2 empty frames on his set. Those are pictures of his friends. He's showing off all the fun times he had with Dad when he was a kid.
Anyway, Marjorie Taylor Greene goes, if you're going to put my name on your fake Epstein list, DOJ letter, then redact all 31 pages of this file with my name on it. And again, you have, again, just think about the trauma being caused to the survivors right now as the Trump regime releases like a fake list. Here's what Thomas Massie had to say this morning. Let me show you. Republican Thomas Massie from Kentucky. Let's play it.
Responsibility.
And just very quickly, if you will, you've supported most of what Donald Trump has done during his presidency. But because of your actions with these files, he is supporting your primary opponent and has waged very personal attacks on you. I know we just have a few seconds here, but just your reaction to that.
He made a huge mistake with this J.D. Vance, who can't stop stepping in it. Then Kimmel went for the kill. For a guy who wears more eyeliner than Liza Minnelli, you'd think he'd have a better understanding of women, Kimmel said about Vance. Then he noted that Don Jr. was the one who pushed his father to make this catastrophic choice. Another good move, dumbass, Kimmel said directly to Don Jr. Let that sink in. Jimmy Kimmel called Donald Trump Jr. a dumbass on national television. Not in a tweet, not in some back and forth. On his ABC show, broadcast to millions of people.
The only thing that would make it worse is if somebody changed the lyrics to a song by his beloved Village People to drive it home.
Taco, taco man. I want to be a taco man. Taco, taco man. I've got to be a taco. Taco, taco man. I want to be a taco man. Taco, taco man. I've got to be a taco.
Hey, he wanted to be a macho man. We got Taco Man instead. This could be the new YMCA. They can play it at rallies. You can do TACO. Right?
Look, this is about the Epstein class, the people who are funding the attacks against me. They may or may not be implicated in these files, but they were certainly rubbing shoulders with the people who are in these files. They're billionaires who are friends with these people, and that's what I'm up against in Washington, D.C. Donald Trump told us that even though, he had dinner with these kinds of people in New York City and West Palm Beach, that he would be transparent, but he's not. He's still in with the Epstein class. This is the Epstein administration, and they're attacking me for trying to get these files released.
Kimmel looked at the camera and called the former president's son a dumbass. And you know what happened? Donald Trump absolutely lost it. Not immediately, but the attacks on Kimmel intensified dramatically. Trump started calling Kimmel a man with no talent and very poor television ratings and demanding ABC get the bum off the air. Here's the thing Trump doesn't understand. Every time he attacks Kimmel for going after his family, it just proves Kimmel's point. It shows that Trump is exactly the thin-skinned narcissist who can't handle anyone criticizing his precious children.
We're learning much more about the Orange Goblin, Donald Trump, and what went down, or more accurately, did not go down on January 6th. You may remember for 3 hours, Trump just hung out saying nothing while a violent crowd attacked the Capitol. He was watching from the White House, soaking it all in. So Liz Cheney...
He's not going to stop. He's going to keep fighting. The same resolve that he had in Butler, Pennsylvania, when he came back defiant after getting shot in the face.
And again, I'm going to say President Trump has not been accused of anything criminal here. Thank you very much for joining us this morning, Congressman. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Martha.
And then just to show you, how, whether it's Thomas Massie, Republican from Kentucky, whether it's Democratic Congressmember Garcia, whether it's Hillary Clinton, whether it's Marjorie Taylor Greene, these people are just saying what's really going down right now. What Congressmember Garcia says this morning is, look, we asked James Comer. James Comer's one of Donald Trump's stooges who leads the oversight committee. That's the lead committee doing this investigation. And he's a Trump stooge. And Congressmember Garcia is like, we asked him, bring Lutnick before our hearing. We have a lot of questions for this guy.
Share this video with everyone who needs to see Don Jr. get absolutely destroyed on national television. But Kimmel wasn't done. In November 2024, something absolutely bizarre happened at Elon Musk's SpaceX Starship rocket launch in Texas. Donald Trump Jr. was standing next to his father in front of TV cameras, and eagle-eyed viewers noticed something disturbing. Don Jr. appeared to be rubbing his gums with his finger, behavior that immediately sparked speculation about cocaine use.
More perturbed right now than Trump's most disappointing son.
And Guys, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Trump already beat Stormy Daniels in court? Like, in all fairness, like, isn't she like paying his legal bills or something like that? I don't know.
His hands move faster than his brain. They're like, I mean, what is it? It's like if Jim Henson had no puppets. How you doing over there? I'm doing real good. The important thing for DJ TJ isn't necessarily defending his father in the Trump family. What's most important is this.
The other thing that you should be watching is the insanity going on in the market right now. So I want to make sure that I take the time to tell you about another one of our great sponsors.
He brought his children to the island where child sex trafficking took place after he said he knew that Epstein was a bad guy and then he lied to everybody about it. That's a big deal. Bring Bannon before the committee. He was like talking to Epstein every single day, and now Donald Trump is praising Bannon, and Trump's DOJ just filed a motion to dismiss the case where Bannon was criminally convicted of obstruction of Congress for not showing up before the January 6th committee. Bannon was still pursuing appeals before the Supreme Court, so it's technically not a final case. And the DOJ just dismissed the cases against Bannon. They dismissed the case. I mean, just think about it, right? You have people like Ghislaine Maxwell getting moved to club-fed VIP facilities.
Jimmy Kimmel got his hands on this footage and did what Kimmel does best. He played it in slow motion, over and over again, showing Don Jr. touching his nose, running his fingers across his beard, and then running those same fingers over his gums. Now, let's be clear, there's no confirmed evidence that Don Jr. was using cocaine. But here's what makes this so devastating. People believed it could be true. The behavior was suspicious enough that it became a national story. Snopes had to fact-check it. The Daily Show had already been doing segments called Cocaine News with Don Jr., making fun of his erratic behavior. Kimmel didn't need to make accusations.
How you doing over there? I'm doing real good. The important thing for DJ TJ isn't necessarily defending his father in the Trump family.
Convicted child sex trafficking. You got people like Steve Bannon, who's of like everybody in the files. I mean, Bannon's like one of the worst. Bannon was like talking with Epstein about rehabilitating Epstein's image and overthrowing governments. Here's what Congressmember Garcia had to say.
Former Secretary Howard Lutnick, he had said in an interview last year he hadn't seen Howard Lutnick in years. Turns out he went to see his island off the U.S. Virgin Islands with his family back in 2012, and he had business interests with him in 2014. Are you working with Republican Chairman Jim Comer to bring Howard Lutnick in for questioning?
Trump keeps calling him talentless, but Kimmel just won Best Talk Show at the 2026 Critics' Choice Awards and thanked Trump for giving him so much material. The harder Trump attacks Kimmel for going after Don Jr., the more Kimmel is proven right. The more Trump demands ABC fire Kimmel, the more ABC stands behind him. The more Trump threatens and bullies, the more it backfires. And Don Jr.? He's just collateral damage in a war between his father and a comedian who realized that the best way to get under Trump's skin is to expose his children for exactly what they are.
Jr. was not at Daddy Donald's last night. The prodigal son was being grilled as part of the $250 million case against their business. There he is, tiny soprano. I wonder what's going through his head right now.
I should have worn makeup.
Oh, yeah, good one. Here's the thing about Don Jr. What he lacks in intelligence, he also lacks in charisma. So, and as with all cases involving the family Trump, DJ TJ was sworn in on an upside-down Bible. He will finish his testimony tomorrow, and then Eric will testify, and then Trump will claim he's never met either one of them. But it's getting serious. There's even some worry Don Jr. could be tried as an adult in this one. Trump was not there in person to support his sons. He had a Halloween party.
We have asked Chairman Comer to bring in Howard Lutnick. We have yet had no response. Not only did he visit the island, he had tons of communication with Jeffrey Epstein after it was already known that Jeffrey Epstein was essentially convicted for preying on children. So it is shameful that he's actually in our government. He should not be the Commerce Secretary. He should come talk to the Oversight Committee.
The Oversight Committee also voted last month to hold bill.
And then What I liked about this next comment by Congressmember Garcia this morning is he said, look, he goes, we need to know, why was Mar-a-Lago one of the locations where a lot of the sex trafficking took place?
Make sure you're subscribed, turn on notifications, and let us know in the comments which Kimmel takedown of Don Jr. was your favorite. Because this war is far from over, and Kimmel has shown he's willing to keep destroying Don Jr. on live television no matter how much Donald Trump loses it on Truth Social. That's the power of truth. That's what happens when you expose privilege disguised as populism. And that's why Jimmy Kimmel's systematic destruction of Donald Trump Jr. will remain one of the greatest long-term comedy takedowns in television history.